celebrating 50 years of industry-leading service for fence, deck, and leisure space solutions. Visit stlfenceworks.com.
Well, good afternoon, everyone, and happy Wednesday to all of you and yours. This is the official 3 Martini Lunch. It's Common Sense Radio. It's the Allman Report on News Talk STL. Jamie Allman here and Ashlyn over there. And before we get started, it's going to be a big day. And I have to tell you, I don't know what it is that MoDOT is doing out there, but if you are Are you heading to a lunch meeting or whatever it happens to be, going eastbound on 40, you are dead in the water, going all the way probably back to about Lindbergh, maybe even past that. And by the time you get to Midtown, it is absolutely a parking lot. And it's not an accident. It's not anything of the sort. It's basically them closing a lane right in the middle of the day. Closing a lane, probably vacuuming or fixing a pothole or some stupid thing like that, and they have interrupted commerce for the next 2.5 hours. It's crazy. Then going west, and I usually start right about Midtown, right about Richmond Heights, Clayton. They have a lane blocked, with those little they're not the orange cones, but they're the orange, rods, whatever they are. And they've got a lane blocked for miles. I mean, going all the way up until 270. And there's nothing there. An entire right-hand lane totally blocked off. Now, you exit, obviously, on some of those things. But if they still have those during the return home today going west, people are going to be absolutely screwed. It is unbelievable. There's got to be some better way. And I understand construction. I mean, I get all that, and I mean, I understand that part of it, but some of this stuff seemingly can be done another time. Yeah. And I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there are smarter MoDOT people than me. I get it. And so, I know that it's not easy and people complain about potholes. I get it. But half the time you see these guys and you're wondering why traffic's backed up and they're sweeping the highway for acorns or something. There's never anything on that. It's just, it's really kind of frustrating, but I wasn't stuck in it. So, I'm frustrated on your behalf because it is a nightmare. Sometimes I just think that they're doing this just to mess with us, to keep us all, off guard. Whatever it happens to be. It's kind of. I used to say this a long time ago because I think it would be a great movie or something where there was, for all the things that annoy people out there on the roads or whatever it happens to be, there's some kind of central command post where they have a bunch of monitors and stuff like that, where they are going to they direct people to be annoying or they cause traffic this or traffic that, and so there's a whole crew of people, maybe aliens like Tabitha and I talked about, who are dropped down from the planet or a planet or whatever, and they're the ones who are driving 25 in the fast lane, or they're the ones who are doing something annoying in the Whole Foods parking lot or whatever. And then they're just all kind of dropped here to annoy us because they all behave kind of the same. I love this. On Facebook, there's this guy who does these videos, and I never could remember. I never flagged these things. I probably should because I just kind of look at them and it's funny. So some of the really annoying things that happen, like for instance, he's got this character in his videos, and it's a black glove. And in one case, for instance, he is trying to plug in his iPhone charger like under a table, and you can't really see, but you're trying to get it in there, and this black hand, gloved hand comes out. And it's pushing it away. It's like it's pushing it away so it can't get into the plug. And so all these inanimate objects, the things that annoy us every day, and we can't figure out why it happens, is actually being done by this black gloved hand. That's just kind of doing that. I think that's funny. Anyway, PM says they're beyond short-handed with personnel with MoDOT. The highways have looked terrible since around 2020 and COVID. Yeah, I mean, it's true. They redid that entire. You may remember they redid 40. And tore it up. This was back. Well, I remember it well because it was back in 2007. That's when Natalie was born, and she was almost born in the car because of the detours that we had to take to get to the hospital for her birth, and she was a premature baby too, so she was 5.5 weeks early. And I remember driving crazily. Natalie was actually born 10 minutes after we got to the hospital, so it was pretty crazy. And anyway, it was 10 minutes after we actually walked into the hospital, meaning check in, get into a bed, do whatever, and then it's like 3 minutes from the time Andrea was laying in a bed. So it was that fast. Anyway, I just remember sweating it because the highway was all screwed up, and we had to do something else and go a different route and what have you. And the fact of the matter is, after they did all that construction, honestly, not one thing changed on the highway. Right, Ashlyn? Not anything changed. Like nothing. Tell me one thing that was improved by redoing Highway 40. Like nothing changed. I mean, it's still, as even of 3:30 in the afternoon, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, going west, it's backed up. Going east, it's backed up. And I understand that the population changes do add significantly to traffic and that kind of thing. So, but you always wonder whether or not when there is construction like that, whether or not it's a situation where they're accommodating actuarial predictions of increased populations or whatever. So when you're redoing the highway in 2007, are you planning for a population boost of 500,000 to 1 million people by 2027? Are you calculating all that? I don't know. I'm not an engineer, but sometimes I wonder whether they factor that in. So they did all that construction, but nothing has changed. Well, anyway, on to really what I wanted to talk to you about. And I don't know, are you aware of what's happening in New York to the Jewish people in Brooklyn and beyond? Do you realize that we are in, you talk about them calling us Nazis, the jihadi, the Islamic supremacists in New York are surrounding synagogues and marching into Jewish neighborhoods. It's unbelievable. This is outside of a synagogue. They've got bullhorns and pulling their Allah Akbar crap. And that's just them praying. Oh no, well they're just praying. Well, by the way, imagine being in the synagogue and trying to pray yourself, and you've got these clowns outside with bullhorns shouting. That's not praying. Shouting Allahu Akbar, if you can believe that, and literally marching into Jewish neighborhoods in Brooklyn. These people are marching down the street, banging drums through these Jewish neighborhoods in Brooklyn. I mean, if you can, this is what they called the pogroms back in the day. These were the efforts on the part of the brown shirts and the Nazis to intimidate Jewish people, and there would be these nights. Kristallnacht, for instance, was a good example of that. There would be these nights where the Nazis would just run roughshod over Jewish neighborhoods and burn them and destroy them and surround people and do whatever. This is happening in New York right now. And it's been happening for the last 5 days. This is 100 times Charlottesville. 100 times. And there is not a peep in the news media. Hell, Fox News is barely covering it. As a news story, we've got the evening hosts who are talking about it, and rightly so. But nobody's paying attention to this. Meanwhile, The View and all these other people are calling us the Nazis. And not even paying attention in any way, shape, or form to what's going on. They're clashing with people. They're fighting with people. The New York City police are basically doing nothing. This is video of a Jewish boy standing there as this Islamic supremacist puts a strobe light in his face. And they're all blowing horns. They're surrounding people. These are individuals who also are wearing masks. It's so interesting how the news media and other people, including the Democrat Party, all flipped out over immigration enforcement agents wearing masks. These people are all wearing masks. And all I can do when I'm sitting there watching the video is hit them with baseball bats now. That's what you ought to be doing. But the Jewish people here in Brooklyn and everything else are peaceful and beyond. And so this is going to get bad. Mamdani, I will tell you, isn't doing anything. And in fact, this is de facto encouraged by this anti-Semite clown who's the mayor of New York. This is a natural rolling out of what happens when you have a Jew-hating, police-hating, Muslim extremist as mayor of New York. All of his brothers and sisters and everybody else now feel they have the freedom to run roughshod over the Jewish populations. And I'm wondering how all the Jews from Mamdani feel now. You didn't expect this to happen? That's how these people operate. This would not be happening if Mamdani were not mayor of New York. At least it wouldn't be happening every night. And they are making some arrests and whatever else, but the Jewish people there are going to probably end up having to take this into their own hands eventually, because one of them is going to get hurt. And so I think now's the time to throw down on these Islamic supremacists and teach them a lesson once and for all. It's too bad that we can't just get a whole posse together from across the country and convoy up there to protect these people, because that's how I feel about it. This shouldn't be happening in America. And keep in mind, most of these people are probably already spit out of the wombs of immigrants as it is. So this is what we get for our so-called open society, our open borders, and our open hearts and all this nonsense. You get a bunch of people who are Muslim Islamic extremists, probably the kids of people who came here supposedly for good and are now poisoning the waters of this great country of ours. In New York, this was great. This is also a post. Mamdani's wife is an absolute Jew-hating witch. And it just so happens that Miss Israel 2025, Melanie Shiraz, wound up accidentally sitting next to Mamdani's wife. She hates Israel, hates Jews. We all know it. She's a racist, just like Mamdani is. And it's in this Brooklyn cafe. Because, Mamdani is also kind of focused a lot on Brooklyn. And this is all a result of him being mayor. All these pogroms, all these 100 times Charlottesville, racist marches, everything else, harassment of Jews is because Mamdani is mayor. So anyway, Miss Israel, Melanie Shiraz, puts a post up and she goes, wow, it's weird. I wound up sitting next to the Israeli-hating wife of Mamdani. She was ready for the selfie until I introduced myself as Israeli. Then her face changed. So she was going to get a selfie with this woman, Melanie Shiraz, and then when she told her that she's Israeli, the Jew-hating wife of Mamdani's face changed completely, and she got pictures of it. So the before and after pictures of her telling the Jew-hating witch wife of Mamdani that she's Israeli. She got pictures of it before and after. It's all over the internet now. I don't know whether this stuff isn't really all over the internet. It's not even all over the news. It ought to be the number one story. If these were white people marching in black neighborhoods, it would be. If these were Jews marching in Muslim neighborhoods, it would be. But instead, these coddled Islamic supremacists just get away with it. It's unbelievable. Will Sam Page get away with it? We'll find out. Mark Harder's going to give us an update on the Sam Page case because it is starting to get a little heady. It's Common Sense Radio. It's the 3 Martini Lunch. It's the Allman Report on News Talk STL.
News Talk STL.
First thing in the morning and pretty much all day.
Live and local. 1019 and 94.1. News Talk STL.
Ever feel like just a number in a waiting room? Hi, I'm Shannon Tribune, Director of Operations with Body of Health Direct Primary Care. Navigating the medical system can be a maze of stress. I'm your personal guide at Body of Health. I handle the messy parts of medical care, the logistics and complex coordination, both in and outside our walls, so you and Dr. Tobler, that's my dad, can focus on what matters most, your health. At Body of Health, you're not just a patient, you're part of the family, because that's healthcare the way it ought to be. To learn more, schedule a discovery call at bodyofhealth.com.
Dude, this house is perfect. Crumbs everywhere, sticky counters. I've already texted the colonies.
Sweet, I'll bring my 500 cousins. This'll be the biggest ant rager of the summer.
Let's party! Wait, oh, what's that sound? Oh, no, it's those trucks with the green wheels. Party's over, man. Party's over.
This is Derek, the owner of All Solutions Pest Control. We'd love to help you out. Give us a call today for a free estimate at 636-486-7888.
If a pest-free home is your goal, call All Solutions Pest Control.
Spring weather has everyone sneezing, even inside their home or building. Instead of saying Gesundheit, call Wellington Environmental to perform air tests to determine if mold levels are too high. Gesundheit is the same as saying bless you after someone sneezes, the German word meaning wishing you good health. Wellington Environmental can perform air testing that is simple, fast, and can identify issues keeping you from having good health. Wellington does the same for hospitals and nursing homes for indoor concerns. Give them a call. It's simple. 314-644-4930. 644-4930. Tell Cindy, I need air sampling. They've seen it all. They can help you. Next time you hear Gesundheit, think Wellington. Wellington Environmental. Be well with Wellington.
This is Larry Connor's commentary on News Talk STL.
With all the latest focus on UFOs, UAPs, if you want to use that term, it got me to thinking about other mysteries. Sasquatch, Loch Ness Monster, Mothman, Hunter Biden. Oh, yeah, he's still a mystery. Anybody seen him, heard from him? Anybody? Well, in my detailed investigation, I found financial records state Biden has not repaid debts to friends. Make that previous friends. He has not paid about $20 million he owes lawyers for protecting his arse. Now, there are two groups you do not want to stiff, lawyers and the mafia. We also know Hunter lost his law license after federal convictions on tax and gun charges. He also cut ties with most Democrats, blaming them for kicking Daddy out of the presidential primaries. He calls them Democrat elites, publicly denouncing them, and that includes actor George Clooney. We know that Hunter got a pardon for any and all crimes from Daddy before he left the Oval Office. I know that court filings say that Hunter is no longer in the U.S. He's moved abroad. Where? You want his address, his phone number, email? Probably easier to track down Bigfoot.
Get more Larry Connors on Larry Connors USA.
Tonight at 6 on News Talk STL.
We talk about race relations.
This conversation has completely made me crazy.
This is complete insanity.
And I'm sick and tired of it.
1019 and 94.1.
I find it to be a conversation starter.
News Talk STL. The Allman Report, sponsored by Gulf Shores Restaurant.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the 3 Martini Lunch. This is the Allman Report on News Talk STL, Common Sense Radio, as always. Jamie Allman here with you and Ashlyn there, and right over there is the great Mark Harder, who is St. Louis County Councilman Extraordinaire, and love your show on the weekends, which is the St. Louis County Insider, which is fantastic. Always have your great guests that you have on. We'll talk about that in a second. Well, yesterday was a significant day in the pursuance of perhaps charges against St. Louis County Executive Sam Page, who is he moonlighting as an anesthesiologist, or is he an anesthesiologist moonlight as St. Louis County executive?
That's a good one. That's a different way of looking at it.
Yeah.
He's spending almost about much time as on both jobs.
Yeah.
So, so yesterday the council or our ethics committee voted to send it to the full council to vote, and which we did last night, to send this whole issue to the local prosecuting attorney and to Catherine Hanaway, the state prosecuting attorney. So it'll be up to them whether they think we have enough evidence to convict him of this situation as a violation of our charter.
Yeah. So first of all, this is not just an insignificant dalliance having this as his other job. You all have basically the receipts that are showing that he sometimes will spend a significant part of the day seeing patients.
Right. So this has been, we pursued this, or I did when I was the chair of the ethics committee a number of years ago, and we got tied up in the courts, and they just slow walked this for a year on us, and we could never get to these documents. We pursued it again about 4 months ago with the help of a citizen that filed some different sunshine requests on our behalf, and we were able to get billing records from SSM Health System, which is where he is alleged to work at St. Louis University Hospital. And so we were able to put those billing records together with the names of the patients, of course, redacted. But all we were interested in is how many patients he was seeing on what days, and try to generate a pattern. And so as I showed you during the break, we have basically 23, 24, 25, and part of 26. And it seems like the pattern is that he was seeing anywhere from 3 to 5 patients a day, mostly on Mondays, it seems like. And it's almost every Monday as well during those months. And it basically it adds up to, he had, during that time, saw 330 patients during that period of time. So if you multiply it, say you spend 3 hours in the surgery as an anesthesiologist with each one of those patients, you're up to 900, almost 1,000 hours that you're not doing your county executive job. And he's said, and he now admits he's working. He just says he donates his time. Okay. So he's not saying he never worked. He's just saying he donated his time. Well, that's not part of the charter. We don't care where the money went.
Yeah.
You're taking time away from where you should be. It's like, Jamie, if you had a business like, name it, and you hire somebody to work Monday through Friday, and you get somebody that just doesn't show up on Mondays and does drywall for free for his friends, and you're still paying him for Monday, what would you do?
It doesn't matter whether he's working at a soup kitchen all day.
Right. So we hired him. We elected him to do the job of a county executive. It's a full-time job. It pays quite highly, about $140,000 a year or more, plus benefits. You get a driver and all this kind of stuff. And yet he wants to pursue, to being a doctor. And if that's what he wants to do, go do it. Give up the other job to somebody else. There's other people that would like to do that job.
And it doesn't matter. I'm sure that there's some indication, and he'll probably try to claim it, that, well, I have to do this because I have to do it to keep my license. But again, it doesn't matter. That's not what is part of the charter. And it also doesn't matter, Mark. It seems like it maybe would matter because you could split some hairs, but it doesn't matter how many patients he's really seeing. I mean, is there some kind? There's no limitation, or there's no mark of hours spent that is in the charter. It's whether you're there or you're not there.
Right. And the charter says devote your entire time to the position, and that same rule governs our prosecuting attorney. It governs the assessor. It governs our police chief. It governs our chief legal person. It's all in the charter. So they can't have other jobs. Our prosecutor can't be working for, name the firm in town and be the prosecutor at the same time. It's an ethical thing. You don't want to put yourself in that position. So if you're the county executive and you have a full-time job with, name a big corporation here in town, guess what? If that corporation wants a favor, they go, hey, you work for us, right?
Yeah.
I know that's your campaign job, but you work for us, So it was done purposely in our charter to insulate those top jobs in the county from that type of temptation.
Yeah.
And
unfortunately, too, and we're talking to Mark Harder. He is St. Louis County Council member Mark Harder, about the pursuance and the vote yesterday, 6-1. Who was the one vote not to send this to?
Miss Clancy.
Oh, yeah, of course. My rep has to be. I should run against her.
You should.
Honestly, I should. She's hideous. But anyway, we will deal with that later. During COVID and everything else, he was a monster. So, but anyway, I'll talk about that another day. But anyway, when it comes to what we're looking at here, because the last time that the charter was brought up before a judge, the judge didn't see the charter as in an originalist way. The judge accounted for these modern times because now you've got cell phones and computers. So you could still be county executive when you're in France and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So I'm hoping, you got to imagine that maybe there's a judge out there, depending on how far this case goes, who will, again, look at the county charter not in an originalist way, but in a kind of changeable way with modern times. And in these modern times, people need two incomes and all that stuff.
Right. And we hope that he doesn't look at it that way.
Yeah.
We look at it the way it was originally intended. And it was intended, like I said, to insulate these folks from possible conflicts of interest, being so they couldn't be corrupted because of an employer-employee relationship. And it is a full-time job plus. These are high jobs, high stress can be if they want it to be. They're on call 24 hours if they want to be. And so he knew that when he signed up for the job, And so now my job on the council is different. We're considered part-time. Okay, we can have other jobs. There's, so, and we're paid quite a lot less because of that. But we put in a lot of time, more time than probably a lot of people have done in the past, because we've had to do his job because he's not there. So we've had to manage these budgets, and we've had to, look into issues and investigate and to audit and do all the things that a oversight board should be doing. And we're getting better at it. But a lot of it is because the vacuum is there because he's not there.
Yeah. Boy, that's crazy. So what's the timeline on this? Now that it's turned over to Melissa, the prosecuting attorney in St. Louis County, and, of course, to Catherine Hanaway, what's the timeline, do you know?
We don't know. It's up to them. They have the authority to bring a case. If they think our evidence is good enough, they can bring a case and try it. And the result is whether this person stays in office or not. And these type of cases are held a lot throughout the state when you have aldermen and mayors and county executives. And if there's a corruption charge, it's the same type of case. You bring the evidence, is there corruption or not? And then they're removed. If they're guilty of the corruption, they're removed for that issue. In this case, this is a charter violation. And whether you're a charter in the city or charter in the county or charter, in somewhere else, it's still a charter violation, and hopefully they'll see the way we see this and vote to remove him from office.
Yeah, and again, it's not going to be relevant, but it is a curiosity. How would the level of patients that he's seeing compare to the level of patients that basically a full-time anesthesiologist would see? Do we know? And it doesn't matter again.
Right, it doesn't matter. It doesn't affect the issue is that he has spent he owes the taxpayers of St. Louis County probably about $100,000 of missed time that he's doing another job while he should be doing his job.
Yeah.
And so if you take his salary divided by the hours, whatever his hourly rate is, times the patients he's seeing, and so on and so forth, I figured back of the envelope, he owes us probably about $100,000, or owes the taxpayers about $100,000. That he should have been doing his job.
Yeah, good. I'm glad you guys are pursuing it because it's the right thing to do. St. Louis County Council member Mark Harder How's the show going? What's going to be going on this weekend?
Great. Well, we're working on this weekend. I'll let you know.
Yeah. No, I know. I know exactly how that goes.
So yes, I don't want to commit to it right now, but we'll whether we have the show ready this weekend or we'll do a best of. But I just looked at some records the other day. We've been doing it for a year now.
Nice.
I can't believe it.
Congratulations.
Every Wednesday. So we probably interviewed 120 people on the show over that time, and some people multiple times. And it's fun. It's a lot of fun. We get to talk to people that a lot of people don't know are behind the scenes that are doing the things that keep this community rolling. Yeah. And those are the type of people we want to shine a spotlight on.
Yeah. Mark, if somebody asked me, like at 3 o'clock this afternoon, like what's going to be on the show tomorrow, I would not be able to tell them. No. So I know exactly how you feel about all that.
Yeah, no, and you know how it is. You get things
never know.
You never know, and that's it's unpredictable sometimes, and sometimes stressful because of it.
Yeah, I understand it.
We'll do card tricks if nothing else.
It keeps things fresh, man. That's what I like about it. Is if you already know what's going to be going on, it's then we're just taking the excitement out of the whole thing. All right, Mark Harder, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. We'll
Thanks
talk
for
later.
all your hard work on that too. It's Common Sense Radio. It's the Allman Report on News Talk STL, and would you believe this? President Trump gets backhanded praise from The View. Honestly, he does. From Sonny Hostin. And also, ladies and gents, Harry Enton, the Neil Sedaka nephew there at CNN and Number Cruncher, has some bad news for the Democrats as we go into midterms. It's Common Sense Radio.
If you have a phone, you have a radio. Download the all-new News Talk STL app.
Love the all-new News Talk STL app.
And listen anytime, anywhere.
Ladies and gents, we're going to hear from Chad Hansen in just a little bit because I got to tell you, he is rocking and rolling this weekend, and it is the Jeff Hansen Memorial Clay Shoot, and it's going to be a blast, and we can still get tickets, everything else, but we'll talk more about that. I want to talk to you about trees, and I want to talk to you about your yard and mulch and the magic bean for your plants and everything else. So the trees, it's going to be golly, this week has been so beautiful, but you never know, especially with these spring storms. We still have half of May to go practically, so you want to make sure your trees are deadwooded and pruned so that branches aren't coming down on your people or your property. If you're seeing smaller branches coming down on the trees there when it's like right, on your lawn, whatever, after a storm, it's telling you the tree is stressed. It's telling you the tree needs some help. We've had a really rough winter. We had a really hot summer before that and a really rough winter before that. And trees do not necessarily really achieve very well during those conditions. So they'll do that for you. They'll finance it for you. Whatever happens to be, even a full-on tree takedown, they will take care of for you as well. And now on to the fun stuff, which is the mulch. All different kinds of colors of mulch: the black, the brown, the red, which I happen to like. All different kinds of cuts of the mulch. Some people like that shaved mulch. Some people like the thicker cut mulch, whatever it happens to be. You can get that delivered right to your doorstep and, your driveway. They won't put it in front of your door, I promise you. All you have to do is go to hansenstree.com and you can order it online. And don't also forget about the magic bean. I'm the one who called it from the very beginning, the magic bean. It was a composting mixture. I remember Jeff being a little nervous about me putting the word magic on it because, people who sell stuff never want to say it's magic because, you know how it is. Anyway, it is because it grows your plants and your sunflowers and your veggies and your grass and your bushes in really marvelous ways. Hansenstree.com. That's hansenstree.com.
I want to share something with you. Cooking a pizza using coal creates an amazing pizza. Only one place to get it: Napoli Brothers Pizza and Pasta in Chesterfield. Of course, they offer a wide variety of pasta, but you just visit the website napolistl.com, dine in or take out, and get ready for patio season. Napoli Brothers Pizza and Pasta in Chesterfield Valley. Try it. You can thank me later.
Stan Musial, he missed a season in his prime to serve his country in the Navy.
Honor a legend on Saturday, May 16th when the Cardinals face the Kansas City Royals. Fans can secure a Stan Musial military bobblehead presented by Coca-Cola and Deerbirds. This patriotic collectible celebrates Stan's Hall of Fame career and his service to our country. A true symbol of character on and off the field. A tribute worth displaying and remembering. Don't miss it. Get tickets and details at cardinals.com/promotions.
Paging all nurses and healthcare heroes. This night is for you. Join the Cardinals for Nurses Appreciation on Wednesday, May 20th and Thursday, May 21st at Busch Stadium. With a special theme ticket, you'll receive a healthcare-inspired Cardinal sweatshirt plus a coupon for a complimentary drink. It's our way of saying thank you for all that you do in our community. Don't miss the special theme at the ballpark. Details and tickets at cardinals.com/theme.
Colombo and Company.
Join us every day for conversations with a wide variety of guests as we keep you informed and up to speed on all the important news and headlines you need to know.
Live and local weekdays at 2 on Newstalk STL. The Allman Report, sponsored by Newsteaders Fine Jewelry.
I was just going over in my head what it would like to be anesthetized by Crumbmouth Sam Page. Particularly me, like if I were in the hospital room and Sam Page walked in with his needles and his gas mask or whatever those things are. And I'd be like, hi, Sam Page, County Executive Page.
Yeah, hi. I think you called me Crumbmouth on the radio.
I'm like, okay. He'd probably kill me.
I don't want to inject too much into your...
I would absolutely refuse to be anesthetized by Sam Page. He'd remember. All right, ladies and gents. So this is a backhanded compliment for President Trump, but it's still a compliment. I mean, Sonny Hostin basically had to call him a misogynist and a racist before she basically gave him a lot of credit for expanding the access to various forms of fertilization therapy for couples and beyond. And that would include IVF. And basically what it was is it's a movement to get businesses to go ahead and add expansive fertilization coverage in their insurance offerings. And so it was a really significant thing. IVF, regardless of your politics, or even for that matter, your religion, the reality is there are a lot of people, and you probably don't even know them, who utilize IVF. That's just how it goes. And so and I remember sitting in a room with a bunch of people who were all conservatives, because I was actually working with a Democrat lawmaker, Tracy McCreary, down in Jefferson City, to pass IVF legislation. But there are a lot of people, from the pro-life area, and they didn't want to go. They didn't want to go near it because they were afraid of getting hammered by some of the pro-life organizations. And I understand that some of them have really legitimate questions about the freezing of the embryos. This was just a protection bill to make sure that people who did it and eggs discarded, they weren't charged with murder, basically. That's kind of, it's a reasonable kind of approach. But anyway, beyond all that, I was in that room, asked them about IVF, and every single one of them knew somebody or had somebody in their families who used IVF to have babies. So it's a thing. It's an important type of development. I believe, and I think it's legit, and I'm glad President Trump did it. Sunny Hostin then goes on The View, and she's going to give him some credit, but not before kind of attacking him.
I think it's true that he wants Trump babies, which implies he wants American-born white children.
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with American-born white children again, Sonny? See, that's where you always get, and I'll get to her complimentary comments later, eventually, but this is where you see these racist black people, and they reveal themselves, and they don't know it, but we know it when they reveal it. So the reality is, let's pretend Trump wants more white babies. What exactly is the problem with that? Rather than fewer white babies? Because I know that Sunny Hostin wants fewer white babies, because we know that that's implicit in her commentary, where she's flipping out about the possibility of more white babies. The reality is there is a slowdown in procreation among young people and beyond. And the good news about all this, technically, and don't tell Sunny this, but we know, for instance, all of the pink-haired chicks with bones through their nose at the ICE protests aren't having babies. So that's the good thing. So the best thing to do through some of this is to go ahead and make sure that the good people in our country who we want actually having babies are able to procreate to the best of their ability. And so that's kind of the way to do it. But anyway,
maybe toddler white nationalists. That may be part of the intent.
What did she say? Do I even want to bother trying to discern what Joy Behar is saying?
But as someone who also struggled with infertility, Manny and I went through our entire life savings to have our children. There was no insurance. We were fortunate enough to have a home that his parents gave us a down payment for, and we borrowed against our entire home and lost and our entire savings to have our two beautiful children. And so the fact that this is something like this is available, where you do have help with IVF, that you do have help with the drugs, the IVF drugs, I think is a win. There's so much to criticize Donald Trump for, especially his racism and his xenophobia and his misogyny, yes. But these particular things where you have an account, a Trump account, where your children can have $200,000 when they're 18 years old, and the help with infertility, which is also a crisis in this country, I think you call a thing, and I think these are good policies.
I love how Sunny Hostin, even when she's complimenting Trump, still has to go and rub the tummy of the TDS Buddha just to get safe passage,
I think the infertility is great, and I believe it when I see people actually getting to do it. But I will not give him this until he takes care of the kids from birth to 18 or to 20.
Yeah.
Whoopi Goldberg had to chime in.
I'm sorry, that's
And then, of course, the rest of the audience then was able to have Whoopi go ahead, not only rub the tummy of the TDS genie, but also then, in the end, get it all back on track, right? All right. Finally, speaking of insufferable human beings, it was so great during the Kevin Hart roast to see Chelsea Handler finally laid out. Chelsea Handler, the woke crazy who is always so far above everybody else, she was absolutely laid out by Hinchcliffe, by the other guy, I can't remember his name now, Gillis, by some of the others, and she finally met her match. It's funny how in the aftermath of that, and Chelsea Handler deserved every bit of it. I mean, Hinchcliffe was brutal to her, and I loved it. It was I've never seen, I just absolutely was, I love it. I can't play it really. I can to a certain degree, but some of it's pretty rough. But every word of it was deserved. So now you're seeing, of course, the aftermath of this. So after I saw the video, especially of Hinchcliffe, and when he just basically said she's an awful person, and it was really funny. So, Handler got handled right on, Phil. So what I did was I looked then around the internet. I was going to say, well, I wonder how people reacted to all this, right? Well, and of course, the reaction was, oh, she was surrounded by men, and this is this was bad for, and they acted like Chelsea Handler was a victim in a roast, for crying out loud. I mean, that's how underdeveloped some of these younger people are now. They don't even understand what a roast is. The Dean Martin roasts are the ones that are the best as far as I'm concerned. So anyway, there's this there's this show called The Social. It's called The Social CTV, and it's your usual suspects. It's a couple of chicks and then two gay guys all talking amongst themselves, basically.
Shocking insults to jokes about race, abortion, religion. The roast of Kevin Hart is making big headlines, even a few days after it aired, particularly for the vicious back and forth between host Shane Gillis, podcast host and Trump supporter Tony Hinchcliffe, and comedian Chelsea Handler. But I gotta ask, and we're gonna start this with you, Tom. Did this roast shock you that the way it did a lot of people watch?
No, your voice shocks me.
No, it didn't at all, because a roast is a roast is a roast is a roast.
Yeah, the gay guy's right about that part of it, So anyway, one of the things was great. Who's the Davison guy, right? What's his first name, Ashlyn? Pete Davison. Hinchcliffe went after him, and it was the greatest. He said, if your dad knew that, well, his dad, by the way, was killed as a firefighter in New York. His dad was killed in 9/11. And he said, if your dad knew what a failure you are, he'd be turning over in his rubble. Davison deserved that, too. He's such an ingrate as it is for all the work and the heroism of his dad. Anyway, it's a good one. You guys ought to check it out. You'll love it. Chelsea kind of flipped out because she got so defensive, and that was fun to watch, too. All right, Harry Enton has some bad news for Democrats as the midterms arrive.
Tim Jones here for Comprehensive Chiropractic in Eureka, the premier chiropractic and sports performance facility in the region. They've helped me recover from day-to-day aches and pains for years. And here's something special, personal training programs. Whether you're an athlete committed to increasing performance, recovering from an injury, or just want to get healthier and lose weight, their personal training programs will help you reach your goals and stay there. Comprehensive Chiropractic in Eureka, online at cchiropractic.com. That's cchiropractic.com.
You never know who you'll run into at Sugar Creek Golf Course. Stop by the News Talk VIP Lounge inside the Sugar Creek Clubhouse and catch familiar faces like Jamie Allman, Mike Ferguson, Tim Jones, Nick Schroer, and more from the News Talk STL team. Grab a cold drink, say hello, and take in the atmosphere. And before you leave, swing by the Pro Shop to pick up your official News Talk STL polo. The Sugar Creek Pro Shop is the only place you can get one. It's all happening at Sugar Creek, so don't miss it.
License number GL250000615.
We've seen all kinds of clogs, so remember the rule. Only flush 3 things. Number 1, number 2, and toilet paper.
What about my dinosaurs?
No.
My monster truck?
Nope.
What about...
If it's not the big 3, don't flush it.
But if someone does flush a dinosaur...
Call Grasser. We clear the clog and get things moving again.
Green is always Grasser at GrasserHomeservices.com.
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness One. Wellness One is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common-sense science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on Newstalk STL. And you can visit us at inhstl.com. That's inhstl.com.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefontaine, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
Breaking news at Town Hall. I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. President Trump is meeting with Chinese Xi Jinping in Beijing this week. He told reporters that he does not think the issue of Iran will be much of a concern.
We're going to have a long talk about it. I think he's been relatively good, to be honest with you. You look at the blockade, no problems. They get a lot of their oil from that area. We've had no problem, and he's been a friend of mine. He's been somebody that we get along with. And I think you're going to see that good things are going to happen. This is going to be a very exciting trip. A lot of good things are going to happen.
And the talks get underway in earnest tomorrow. President Trump will not have to pay an $83 million defamation award to a columnist until the U.S. Supreme Court gets a chance to take a second look.
The Second U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals agreed to a request by one of President Trump's lawyers that it let the president delay the payment to E. Jean Carroll, though it required Mr. Trump to post a $7.4 million bond to cover any additional interest costs, a request Carroll's attorney had made. The appeals court late last month refused the president's request for a rare meeting of the full Second Circuit to hear an appeal of a three-judge panel's affirmation of the January 2024 verdict. Bernie Bennett reporting.
Democratic National Committee Chair Ken Martin is reportedly losing the confidence of some party officials concerned about the direction of the Democrat political machine barely a year into his term.
Major donors aren't giving, and liberal influencers are publicly questioning Martin's refusal to release an internal report on the party's failures. Democrat operatives have started informal discussions about recruiting a new chair, even as most believe Martin's job is not in serious jeopardy before the crucial midterm elections. There's been no comment from Martin about the reported behind-the-scenes unrest. It comes less than 6 months before the midterms. Rich Thomason, Washington.
More on these stories at townhall.com.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free, no-risk consultation. 800-292-7875. 800-292-7875. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-292-7875.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Stifel, serving investors for over 130 years. Contact your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Beautiful spring day out there. High temperatures in the mid-70s under sunny skies with dry air. It was a little breezy. Northwest winds at 15, gusting 20 and higher at times. So a little blustery today, but not bad. Cool overnight tonight, the low near 50. And again tomorrow, we're looking at a high in the mid-70s under sunny skies. But the rain chance returns Thursday night into at least early on Friday. In the First Alert KMOV Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Kent Gerhardt.
Missouri's laws are clear. Unregulated gaming devices are illegal. Companies have been telling businesses that gray market machines are legal. That's wrong. Don't be scammed. If you have these devices at your business, you could be subject to criminal and civil penalties. Unplug and remove these devices today.
If you've been approached to host illegal gaming machines, call now. 800-523-1434 or visit ago.mo.gov. Sponsored by the Attorney General's Office.
Streaming TV is where it's at. It's not about cutting the cord anymore. That's old news. It's all about your customized TV options. With the best and cheapest high-speed internet and your own TV subscriptions, we've got your dream TV lineup. Between wired and satellite internet and TV, you now have tons of options. Save money and get more internet speed and better TV today by calling the Whole Home Connect. We scan your location and offer you the best TV and internet options. And we always have specials and promotions. So when you call, ask about that. Take 5 minutes of your time. Make this free call now and learn how to save money and get better internet and TV for your home anywhere in the U.S. Make this simple and free call now.
800-257-1632. 800-257-1632. 800-257-1632. That's 800-257-1632.
And then the media.
1019 and 94.1.
They lying about what's going on in America. They lying about it.
News Talk STL.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Common Sense Radio. It's the 3 Martini Lunch. It's the Allman Report on News Talk STL. Jamie Allman here and Ashton over there, and we were amusing ourselves looking at the video of President Trump's arrival in China. And the Chinese are so weird sometimes. They always dress these adult people up like second graders. You know, do you see those outfits? Like the girls all had these skirts on, and then the white knee-high socks, just waving these flags. Like, you guys are crazy. Anyway, we'll see how it all goes. We wish the USA and President Trump luck. And it looks like Vice President J.D. Vance is going to be making some kind of announcement sooner rather than later. Not sure what it is, but they've got a camera trained on the doorway, so we'll get into that right as it happens, or at least as soon as we can. Ladies and gentlemen, this weekend, and this is now an annual event, not only celebrating the life of Jeff Hansen, but also contributing greatly to this community. And Chad Hansen on the line, hansenstree.com. Of course, this is the Jeff Hansen Memorial Shoot. And, buddy, how many years has this been going on now?
Oh, man, this will be our 11th.
Wow.
11th year.
Oh, it's hard to believe also that your dear dad and our dear friend is gone and has been gone that long anyway, even longer than that. And so we miss him, but this is a great way to celebrate him.
Yeah, absolutely. This is what he loved to do. This is his passion. And, myself and my family, we're glad that we can put together something like this in his memory and honor, and raise some funds that go out to the local community and support the people around us. So we enjoy doing it.
Yeah, so how can we get involved? I know that it starts at 8 o'clock Saturday morning, and hopefully, I trust it's going to be, if it's a day like today, it's going to be absolutely beautiful to be out there. So how do we get involved?
Yeah, so we have room for, I think, only just 1 or 2 more teams left. You can go to the JeffHansenMemorialFoundation.com if you want to register. But if people would just like to donate to the cause, they can get on there as well and just put through a donation. If you're not a shooter and just want to come out, you can come out and join us for lunch. We got some good auction items and stuff like that as well. And there's a lot of fun people from the local business community that support us. Just a lot of just really good people. Been friends with us for years, and we have a good time. And I think we do it fairly well. So
yeah.
I think we've had 10 years of practice, so hopefully we got it figured out by now. But pretty good event, I think.
Yeah, and Jeff had such an impact on the community, as now you are as well. I think it's just such a great way to celebrate him, and that is with Chad Hansen, your success and your involvement in the community, and also, of course, the business, which has grown. And I think Jeff would be so proud of how it's doing now, and I'm sure he never imagined you would have videos on Facebook back in the day, but there we are, so it's really cool, and you guys do great work, and I think that's a great idea, that if people, and I know it's Wednesday already, and some people already have weekend plans, but if you cannot get involved, if you can't be there, you can either come out for lunch, they've got the auction items as well, but also just to go to Jeff Hansen Memorial Foundation. Is it .org?
It's a .com.
.com, okay. And then you can also just simply give money to the foundation, and it is well used and dispersed throughout the community for a variety of needs. Speaking of a variety of needs, lots of people, by the way, are looking at their gardens, looking at their yards. Everybody's getting things cleaned up, and that's how things are going. So you guys, people can order mulch online. They can order that Magic Bean, the composting mixture, online. So what else are you looking for as we get into this particular juncture in spring?
Yeah, so right now is a perfect time for the mulch and compost. You can order that online at hansenstree.com. And obviously with spring storms, we're always looking up at the trees as well. So make sure you got those big dead limbs, pruned off and taken off, especially over your house or sidewalks or driveways. And, if you got any trees that didn't leaf back out from the winter, definitely a great time to get those taken down before they get blown over. And if you got any trees that are leafed out that are just looking a little sickly, we have a great plant healthcare department. And a lot of times we can kind of treat and prescribe and revitalize, some of your sicker looking trees. So we run the full gamut there on the tree health. So if there's anything that you're wondering about regarding your tree, we got you covered.
Yeah, and if you're doing plantings and stuff like that, or even growing some flowers and things, the compost does work. I'll never forget when when Jeff first kind of made it all happen. I remember Dave over there from MacArthur's Bakery, and Dave MacArthur, he was posting pictures of his sunflowers. And these things were like 7 feet tall, man, after using the Magic Bean.
Yeah, it works. I mean, it's all, there's a science behind making good compost. Not all compost is equal, and we follow that science pretty closely, and it produces great results. And I believe you're the one that coined the Magic Bean phrase years and years ago. And that is, it's funny how many people still refer to it as the Magic Bean.
Yeah, it was so funny when I first talked to Jeff about it, and he was like, I don't know whether we can call it magic. I go, no, go ahead. I mean, it's okay, because you're not going to, the FTC isn't going to come after you for calling it magic. It's not a big deal, So, but for a second there, he was like, I don't know, can I call it magic? And I'm like, well, I'm going to call it magic, so let's just go ahead and do it.
Magical results.
Yeah, exactly. A quick question for you, too. This is because normally we're talking about unhealthy trees, and I was actually going to talk to you about this so I have these trees around the pool. Last year, there was this one tree. They're all the same trees. I can't remember what they're called, but they're beautiful trees. They grow real high. They're just green. And last year, it did not leaf at all. I thought it was dead. It just so happens it's right near the electrical outlet that goes into the pool, light and all that stuff. I can't remember, conduit or whatever it is. But anyway, I don't know whether that's it. But anyway, it didn't leaf at all. This year, it comes back, and it's fully leafing. I've never seen a tree that didn't leaf come back and leaf all of a sudden.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely not normal. But there are several trees that will leaf out, and a lot of people don't realize it. And then different disorders can happen, and they will basically drop all their leaves unseasonally and very early.
Yeah.
It may not leaf back out before they go into dormancy. And then the following season, they can leaf back out, and that could be a scenario there. But, yeah, I'd be curious, and I kind of want to run by and take a look at it.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it was pretty amazing. It might have been just a moment of stress or whatever, but it leafed right back in, and I couldn't believe it. Plants and bushes and trees, I'm sure because you're an expert on them and you have all your experts, really, they are miracles. I mean, you do have to still take care of them, but they really are miracles. I think people underestimate the awesomeness of trees. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, they are a living being, just like similar to humans. I mean, they have vascular systems and move nutrients and stuff up through their tissue just like humans do, just in a slightly different way, obviously. But it's like they need to be cared for similar to any other biological being, and they can get sick and unhealthy, and they can also be brought back to health and taken care of. So if you got pinnacle trees in your yard that you want to maintain that provide shade and value and all that, we recommend being proactive.
Yeah, I when I was down at the Capitol, so during the storm last May, I lost 2 trees in the front yard. So basically, it was a pine, and then there was another one. I can't remember what it was called because the pine fell on the other one and just lost both of them. So I did, it's oddly enough, what's crazy is some of the sprigs or whatever from the pine tree that fell, now there are like 3 tiny little trees growing in that front bed. And then when I was down at the Capitol, it just so happens I was down there lobbying and it was Arbor Day. They were giving away trees, like in the so I got a couple cypress trees or whatever. So I'm going to see how those things go, but we'll see. And you guys have already taken down a couple of trees in my yard, and that was because of the age, because a lot of them are old. And I got to tell you, folks, you never know that the Hansen's Tree Service people are there, except that you see the stump. I mean, it's or if you want the stump out, you can do that too. Per Jeff Hansen's, always his style, it was like everything's got to be cleaned up, everything's got to be just right, and Chad has continued that tradition. So you're not going to see a bunch of debris and just a mess after they're there. So that's another way that Hansen's Tree Service is awesome. All right, buddy. Well, have a good weekend. I might see it out there, and I appreciate you so much. Old Monroe is beautiful, and especially nowadays, now this time of year. So good luck with everything.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it. Love to see you out there if you can get away for a few.
Absolutely, buddy. All right. Thanks so much. It's Chad Hansen, hansenstree.com. Have a good rest of your day, brother, and I'll see you this weekend.
Same to you, Jamie. Thanks.
All right. That is Chad Hansen. Yeah, that was fun. But yeah, that's a miracle that tree came back. I was like, oh, wow, that's crazy. But I don't know what happened. But they are sensitive, and they're great little beings, and Chad is right, just like human beings. All right, so Harry Enton, love this guy on CNN. He is the number cruncher. He's not always full of great news. And by the way, you want to go, let's call up J.D. Vance did hit the podium, and it really is just a update on their pursuance of federal fraud with the Federal Fraud Task Force. Here's Vice President Vance.
Seriously. We want to protect Medicaid. We want to protect Medicare. But we can't do that if the states that are administering those programs are allowing those programs to be fleeced by fraudsters. So we encourage, whether it's California or New York or Maryland or Ohio, we encourage people to work with us. We want to help you use technology and other tools to get rid of the fraud, to get to the root of the fraud. We want to help you. But we can only help these state programs if those state programs are willing to help themselves. So these letters are the first step, the first effort to try to force these states to get serious about prosecuting fraud, and that's exactly what we're doing. Let me just talk about one final issue here. We see a lot of fraud in the home health care and in the hospice care system. I think Dr. Oz will probably talk a little bit more about that, but again, you have to appreciate that this fraud issue is fundamentally theft from the taxpayer, but also theft from people who need these programs. Just last month, a California psychotherapist, a woman who had spent 40 years treating patients, helping people deal with problems, found out that her Medicare program had been turned off, that she did not have access to the resources that she had been paying into for her entire life. Why? Because a fraudster had stolen her identity and signed her up for health care services that she didn't need, and so she had been turned off of the healthcare services that she did need. This happens way too much in the United States of America, and it happens because until recently, we did not have a government or an administration that actually took the fraud program and took anti-fraud prevention seriously.
Yeah, and I think to a certain degree, that part of it is really intriguing to me because I was thinking about this the other day, because when you look at ultimately what DOJ found and also what was found in Minnesota and beyond, the level to which it got before anybody caught it is really what is totally and completely astounding to me. But then when you think about it, maybe it's not so astounding after all. Let's just pretend. Let's just go back to the days of Barack Obama. And then let's go then on to the first Trump administration and then through the Biden administration. So President Trump is elected in 2016. His spent 4 years basically fighting impeachments, fighting disloyal staff. He still achieved a great deal. He still made us oil independent and everything else. But he was ripped off for those 4 years. And what I'm getting at is that when President Trump was in office, he had zero bandwidth to be able to do the kinds of things he's doing now to flesh out fraud and do that kind of thing. He barely even got started, and people were all over him, denying the election, everything else. So these programs that J.D. Vance is talking about, where there aren't any guardrails in the programs, I believe is less about really just carelessness and ineptitude and more about a purposeful process of laundering money through people who eventually then would be giving it back to Democrat politicians. I think this got really bad during Obama's years. And remember, Obama was also the years of Acorn and all those organizations that eventually were blown out of the water. But I believe that a lot of the fraud that was happening, Medicare and beyond, we said that we saw the hospice care fraud in Los Angeles. We saw the Leering Center fraud in Minnesota. All these were basically mills. And there were people, the only explanation I could find for people not flagging it is that they didn't want to. They weren't instructed to. They didn't want to. I'm sure there were a couple decent people in there who were flagging this kind of stuff. But the reality is, I believe this was all set up. Medicare, the Medicaid, the hospice, the home health, all that kind of stuff was actually a syndicate and was actually a racketeering operation that everybody knew about. And as long as some of the money was funneled back into campaigns and that kind of thing. And so we'll see how things progress as we head on into not only the midterms, but also 2028, as the Democrat voting base and campaign fund trafficking outlets are slowly but surely going away. So the murdery, illegal, rapey Mexicans are no longer going to be able to vote for them because they're not here anymore. Venezuelans, all the other people that they use to vote for them, they just flag somebody else who voted 2 times in some state, you know. But they've lost a significant level of their voting base. And then, of course, you have with the fraud, tackling fraud and doing all this kind of stuff, you have a situation where their outlets for their spigot has been severely compromised, and so their money is also not as great as it once was. Will that translate to losses in the midterms? Well, Harry Enton with CNN, I'll bring you him after this break here, has some really bad news for the Democrats. We might talk about some of the poor poll numbers for President Trump or whatever, but Harry Enton is pointing out, hey, you can focus on that all you want, but you've got problems of your own that you're going to have to figure out. So we will follow up on that on the other side of this. Also, by the way, ladies and gents, the WNBA, after destroying Caitlin Clark, are now begging people to come back and watch their monstrosity. We'll follow up on that, too. So it's Common Sense Radio, the 3 Martini Lunch. It's the Allman Report on News Talk STL.
I think we should be able to have a civil conversation.
The news and talk that matters to St. Louis.
This conversation has completely made me crazy.
This is complete insanity.
News Talk STL.
Ladies and gents, when it comes to your finances, when it comes to your retirement, when it comes to making sure that your golden years are enjoyable and not stressful, I have an absolutely locked down approach for you, and that is through my friends at the Gemini Wealth Group. Jeff Portman and the gang, more than 100 years of experience in investiture, in managing portfolios, in managing retirement plans. 5 people who are really locked down and really knowledgeable in varying ways about how to make sure that you, living 20, 30, maybe even 40 years after your retirement, can absolutely be joyful all about it and make sure that you're comfortable as well. Retirement, I'm telling you, some people, especially people who have paychecks, it's really hard, to break away from a paycheck. Even when you're older and you're like, I'm sick of working, whatever, you're like, but the paycheck is still good. I don't know whether I want to get rid of that or not. So a lot of what they do with the Gemini Wealth Group is they write permission slips. So you go in, you have all your stuff. They look over it with you and do all this kind of stuff with you and show you what you have and show you their process of diversification, investing, that kind of thing. And it's really super cool the way they do it and how they do it. And it's their approach is one that is unique and one that will grow your portfolio to the point where you're just tapping into the dividends instead of tapping into the actual nut of that particular portfolio. So check it out. Have that meeting with them. Get your permission slip to retire and have a little fun in your golden years. TheGeminiWealthGroup.com. TheGeminiWealthGroup.com.
Hey, it's Susie Moore. If new flooring makes you think hassle, think again, because Michael's Flooring is changing the game. For over 30 years, Michael's has been locally owned and trusted for quality, variety, and amazing service. Whether it's carpet, hardwood, laminate, luxury vinyl, or ceramic tile, their expert team makes installing new floors exciting, not stressful. That's why customers keep coming back. Visit Michael's Flooring at St. Peter's, Starting Prairie, Creve Coeur, or online at igotfloored.com. That's igotfloored.com.
Yo, this is Vic. Vic for Vets is proudly honoring our veterans. Every Wednesday at 11:05, you'll hear about that day's honoree and their incredible service to our country.
Hi, it's Ken. You want to nominate a veteran? Send their name, service information, and story to me, Ken, at newstalkstl.com.
Brought to you by Heroes Care, Alamo Military Collectibles, Gemini Wealth Group, Michael's Funeral Home, and Freddy's Market.
Together, let's celebrate the heroes in our community. Vic for Vets, where honor meets gratitude.
Psst. Want to hear the best kept secret in St. Louis? Steph's Pizza. We're not afraid to compare squares. According to our customers, we have the best St. Louis style pizza anywhere. And we can't disagree. Dine in, pick up, or delivery in St. Peter's, St. Charles, Lake St. Louis on Fort Trail, and the original Stefanina's in O'Fallon on Veterans Memorial Parkway. Check us out at steffspizza.com. Steph's Pizza. We're not afraid to compare squares.
Number 1 for live and local conservative talk.
I just would like to get your comments on that. I'm so glad that you're on the radio, and I want to thank you for that.
I'll tell you why. 101.9 and 94.1. I love these people.
St. Louis is number 1 for conservative talk.
News Talk STL. The Allman Report, sponsored by Santino's Cigar Bar in Imperial.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's Common Sense Radio. It's the Allman Report on News Talk STL. Greg Carell has an interesting story here he's telling on Facebook. He says, you know how one thought can lead to something else? Yesterday, I found an old concert T-shirt. But I thought to myself, I have an older T-shirt somewhere in this house. It was a Hands Across America T-shirt. Then I realized that 40 years ago, on May 25th, I was assigned the arch and was a background photographer for Claudia Mink. I took pics of what happened behind the scenes, taking pics of Kathleen Turner, Eric Douglas, Shelley West, and other dignitaries. Is Claudia Mink the former wife of Eric Mink? I think she is. Eric Mick was an interesting person. I dealt with him for a long, long time. All right, I want to get to this Harry Enton bit real quickly for you because we also have a special guest who is standing by that I need to chat with probably a little bit about what I'm about to lay on you here. So Harry Enton says that even as there are situations where Trump's poll numbers seem to be not so great, Harry Enton is saying, hey, Democrats, you got your own problems. I wouldn't be so reliant on this idea that Trump is losing people because of gas prices at this point.
On the economy. Surely that same poll would show Democrats with a big advantage in the race for Congress.
You would think, but I think this poll serves as a big-time reality check for Democrats, and that is, it ain't over yet, especially with the redistricting when we look ahead to the 2026 race for Congress. You would have thought that the Democrats' lead would expand on the generic congressional ballot. It didn't happen. Look, in March, Democrats were up by 6 points. Look at this now. Democrats are up by 3 points, and I want you to note the yellow lettering. No clear leader. It is within the margin of error. So despite all of the talk about Donald Trump's unpopularity, the fact is Republicans very much remain in the game when it comes to the congressional midterms, which are occurring in, 6 or 7 months at this point?
Yeah, so the Dems can thank all of the scumbags like Hakeem Jeffries, the Chuck Schumers of the world, the AOCs of the world, all those individuals, because whether you like it or not, Democrats, you are turning people off. People don't like you. You're not likable. Your leaders are not likable. And that's why, even as President Trump is in somewhat of a poll numbering peril because of the economy, everything else, people seem to realize you don't have any answers at all. You don't offer them anything. That's what Harry Enton is saying. So I don't know why. I mean, I get it because the news media is all trumpeting all of these poll numbers and gas prices and stuff like that. But the reality is people also know, okay, so what am I going to do? Support Hakeem Jeffries for House Speaker? No. I mean, no, they're not going to do that. So it's, they're going to go ahead and keep, it seems like a lot of independent voters are going to go ahead and keep what they have in hand as it is, and that's President Trump, and at least hope for something giving in the end on the economy. But voting for a party that has no ideas for the economy or anything else other than taking and redistributing and doing whatever, you're not going to win even if President Trump's poll numbers go even lower. Ladies and gentlemen, haven't talked to this guy in a long time. His name is Mark Kasen, and Mark is an educator, teacher, nincompoop. Hey, Mark, what's going on, buddy?
I was off the air here just listening into what you were saying, and I was laughing hysterically. I had to get myself under control for when you got to the air. I mean, you're sitting here talking about a 3% difference in the generic poll between Democrats and Republicans. Last week, the most recent poll was showing 10%, and the latest poll, which is from the Atlas Group, and you can say, oh, I don't know who they are. Well, you better look them up because they're online. U.S. National Poll. It's got the methodology. It's got everything. It's a regular poll, just like everybody. And they're showing 14%. You guys are crashing and burning.
Okay, so let me ask you this then. I mentioned
Go
this
ahead.
because what do you think, what exactly, name like 3 things that the Democrat Party has to offer Americans as an alternative to whatever it is that they have against Trump or whatever. Just 3 things. I'm only asking you for 3.
Well, I could give you more, but I'll give you 3. First of all, there's a giant push in the Democratic Party to provide housing opportunities, assistance much like what Mamdani is doing in New York, and it's extremely popular, and it's spreading like wildfire all over the country. So you can go with the housing issue, number one. The second thing is, you guys have forgotten about the fact that you've wiped out health care for millions of Americans because you cut off all the money that would go to people who were previously buying Obamacare, and so you've crashed health care in America, which you've also done through cutting Medicaid. So
wait.
That's number two.
It really isn't. By the way, before you get to your third one, the cutting of Medicaid isn't the cutting of Medicaid. It is the streamlining of the Medicaid process and everything else. It was fraught with fraud and everything else. So Medicaid really technically hasn't been cut. And also, I haven't seen, do you have an example of somebody losing their health care because of what's been going on?
Personally, I don't know anybody that's lost their health care because I don't ask people. When I walk up to them.
Have you seen any stories about people? Have you seen any stories about?
Yes,
I haven't seen one story.
Oh my God, millions.
Oh my Lord,
millions.
You have not.
Millions
Okay.
through Obamacare.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay?
What's number three?
Number three, which is gigantic, is providing for child care assistance, which has also been wiped out across the country. Now, let me give you number four.
Wait. Child care assistance. First of all, Mark.
Research funding.
First of all, Mark, the child care thing. Why is it the government's responsibility to take care of people's children? I mean, for child care. That's all you guys always talk about is free child care. All the Somalians up there, you think that. And of course, you're all pooping out babies one after the other, so no wonder they need daycare centers all over the place. But my goodness gracious, don't have babies if you can't afford to have the baby, for crying out loud.
Yeah. Let me, please.
No, I'm not kidding you.
I guess you've never heard of Franklin Roosevelt, who came up with many of these great ideas that have been expanded through the Democratic Party for generations.
I remember Franklin Roosevelt because he also gave Poland to Hitler, so I remember that part of it too.
Yeah,
he was a giver. Franklin Roosevelt
was
was actually very charitable. He gave to charities, including Hitler's charity.
Right. Let's get personal here. Where do you stand with kids right now? I know you've got grown kids, but do you have any little ones? Do you have any grandchildren?
Yes, I have two. Yeah, I have two grandchildren, thanks to Ethan and Julia out in California. Yeah, absolutely. Lila and Claire.
How old are they?
Claire is 3, and Lila is about 6 months.
Okay. And I've got 4 grandkids. One is 2, 2 are 4, and of course 1 11, so that's not a child care issue. But the little ones, I've got 3 of the little ones. I know what it costs for child care. And, my family, fortunately, is able to pay for child care. It's not an issue. But it's $2,000 a month for decent child care per kid. I mean, the United States is not in a position where people around the country can afford that.
Well,
and that is what it costs for good child care.
Well, and here's the problem is, these are choices made, because I've made those choices before too, is you calculate what it costs for daycare, and if it's not as much as one of you are making, then one of you doesn't work and takes care of the children.
Yeah, even that's not okay, and
why?
I'll tell you why.
I mean, because if it's $2,000 a month, it's $24,000 a year.
Be with their parents. Horrible.
Oh, that's what you guys planned a long time ago with all your Gloria Steinem stuff. You needed to get the women out of the house and destroy the nuclear family. That's what you guys wanted to do.
Yeah, I wanted to work you up on that.
That's what feminism is all about.
But listen, here is the deal. There's no question that socialization of kids, the intellectual growth of kids, you put them into a great child care environment where they're learning and working and playing together. They'll come home and be with their parents. That's fine. They certainly want their parents. But we want the kids. We want the kids to grow.
No, you
so that when they're 15 and 18 years old, they're not sitting around crying, I can't get a job.
No, they're not going to. In daycare, you guys want them so that you can brainwash them and everything else, even in daycare. Listen, man, when I was growing up, my mom did not work. My dad did. And I was, I got my socialization here and there because I had not only friends, like little baby friends, and then also my mom was in a bowling league. So basically, a lot of my socialization happened in the Tropicana Lanes babysitting area.
Yeah, I'm afraid, and your mother, who sadly I never met, was a great liberal.
She liked you,
and I was going to say, and she liked me and my views, and I think when you were in that bowling alley, and I wish I had the opportunity, but both of our mothers are gone now, but I wish I had the opportunity to ask her if it's possible that somebody accidentally bowled you down the alley and you bumped into some pins.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. Go ahead. Okay.
No. Oh, by the way, I noticed that I was wondering if you were going to do this, but today wouldn't be a good day to use the term Nazi, because normally you do by now, at least this far into an interview, but normally you're rolling out the Trump as a Nazi thing. But I know you can't do that. I know you can't do that because you've seen what's going on. I led the show with it. You've seen what's going on in New York, right? In Brooklyn with your Islamic supremacist friends.
Okay.
No, do you know about this?
Yeah, I know that there's and it's everywhere. And New York is certainly part of it. That there's an enormous concern, certainly among Jews, that anti-Semitism is hugely on the rise.
It is. Well, yeah, it's been 4 nights of pogroms in Brooklyn thanks to the Islamic supremacists. It's 100 times worse than Charlottesville ever was, I'll tell you that. And there's not one peep from any of the legacy media people or any of the liberals out there or anything.
Yeah, well, I want you to know that none of my Jewish friends, and certainly not I, believe that there's any danger to Jews in America. We just don't
try
believe
being a
it.
Jew.
We don't feel it.
Okay.
We don't live it.
Have you seen? Have you seen the videos, Mark? I'm not kidding you. Have you seen them? Because you need to see the videos. Because these people are being harassed in their homes. They're being harassed on the street. They're being confronted on the street by a bunch of mask wearing. And you guys don't like masks unless, of course, it's COVID. Mask wearing Islamofascists, Nazis. And they are repeating exactly what happened in Nazi Germany to the Jews with pogroms and beyond. I don't know how you can possibly whitewash what you're seeing on the video there.
Well, I'm going to do it for you. I'm going to whitewash it for you right now. And I've told you this before. I mean, there are 3 million Muslims in America. 3 million. That's all. That's it. And listen. If a small percentage of those are acting crazy in New York, okay, believe me, they are not changing the relationship that Jews have within our society here because Jews are protected. And by the way, we should be protecting Muslims too. And especially when they're 3 million and Trump wants to crush them. And there are 50 million Hispanics that are in danger of losing their children every day because of the Nazi and the White House.
No. They're illegal aliens. But listen, if this were happening to blacks or if this were happening to even the Islamic supremacists, you guys would be going ape over the whole thing. And so
you are doing it to blacks.
No, we're not. No, we're not.
You've taken away their voting rights.
No, we haven't.
Everybody
they can still
in the
vote.
South is rushing to wipe. And listen, you know this is true. To wipe out all the black districts where there's a black congressman. They're trying to change those maps
Yeah,
to make sure that they only have white representation.
You're referring to Tennessee, where the black district currently has a white congressman. So that's all nonsense, and there shouldn't be any such thing as black districts or white districts, and blacks can still vote the way they have always voted, at least as of 1964, and there's been no change at all. I got to go because I got a lot more to cover, but thank you for your time, and this is over.
Love you, Jamie.
Love
Goodbye.
you too. Bye.
Okay.
So we've got Newsmax. This is so crazy. I do like Newsmax. I'm not always trying to pick on them, but they just get through telling us about the whistleblower hearing this morning, and I'll tell you about that on the other side of this, where Fauci was a cover-up artist and corrupt and everything else, and that the virus did come from the Wuhan lab. And Newsmax is now interviewing Dr. Birx, who is just as culpable as Dr. Fauci. I'd be curious to see whether or not she's being challenged about what happened here, because she knew. She knew everything. Scarf Lady has managed to kind of worm her way into normalcy, but she's not normal. We'll follow up on that. Also, ladies and gentlemen, the WNBA, after the racists there ran out Caitlin Clark, is now begging people to ultimately come to their games, and I'll tell you what they're doing now, because the WNBA is back to being the WNBA and sucking and not being the least bit interesting. So we'll follow up on that, too. This is the Allman Report on News Talk STL.
If you have a phone, you have a radio.
Wherever I'm at, home, car, wherever.
Download the all-new News Talk STL app.
If you have a phone, you have a radio.
Just the convenience on the phone. Streaming live on the mobile app.
Love the new app.
And listen anytime.
Everywhere.
Anywhere.
Ladies and gentlemen, I will tell you, Buckingham Pest Control, BuckinghamPestControl.com. Noel Buckingham and his team ready to rock and roll with you right now, clearing that yard of all those pests that are bothering you while you're at the patio or barbecuing at the pool or whatever. Make sure that you call him. He'll get you on the books and get out there lickety-splickety and clear your area there. One of the ways he deals with mosquitoes, he and his team, they spray the trees. They do not use the foggers and all that other nonsense. Those foggers do not work as well as just absolutely spraying the trees and killing off the larvae and doing everything else. That is pure eradication. That's how Noel Buckingham and Buckingham Pest Control do it. I also, just after talking to Noel here on the air a couple of weeks ago, I was talking about ants. Lo and behold, the other day, I see an ant in my kitchen. I'm thinking, oh, Lordy. So I'm going to have to get Noel Buckingham and Buckingham Pest Control into my crib to take care of all of that. Spiders, another story as well. Those are still always a problem, especially as it relates to the indoors of your home. And then, of course, termites. This is the time when termites are very, very active, and they love the warm weather, and they get all excited about chewing up your house and your wood and everything else. You need to have that done, because the worst thing is to find out you have termites after the termites have already eaten up and done a lot of damage to your home. Noel Buckingham and his team have a really good way of finding every little nook and cranny where these pests happen to be. They know exactly where to look. They know exactly how to take care of it. And he has a special way of doing termite control that the other guys do not do. So it's unique. And, of course, you're supporting a pest control company supporting free, common sense, conservative radio. BuckinghamPestControl.com. That's BuckinghamPestControl.com.
Hey, it's Vic Porcelli. We're sitting here with our great friend, Chris Cooper. Hi, Chris.
What's going on, Vic? How are you?
I hear you wrote another book. This one's an e-book. Is that right?
The Business Owner's Playbook for Financial Clarity. So it is a great book for entrepreneurs, a very short guide. Give people, business owners, the ability to understand key questions that are important, such as succession planning, legacy planning, getting the IRS out of our pockets, right? Because do you like paying taxes?
I do not.
I don't think anybody likes paying taxes, right? That just makes sense. And then always talking about protection. And then the other thing from a business owner perspective, what is the biggest asset a business owner has? Probably their business itself, right? We need to make sure we understand what the value of that business is as well.
So this new book, I'm sure, is incredibly expensive, right? How much?
No, it's a free resource.
Oh, it's free.
We provide guidance, we provide education because we want to make sure people feel educated and understanding because sometimes you don't know what questions to ask, and we need to make sure we help arm people with information to ask the right question.
Reach out to Chris and Stacy today at SerenityWealthNow.com.
Investment advice offered through Fortis Capital Advisors, LLC.
Chris Arps here, and after Becky and I leave church on Sunday, we head down the street to Capriotti's to grab a classic meatball sub. I love Capriotti's, and you will too. Visit Capriotti's now at 2 locations on Manchester, McKnight, and Rock Hill, and now in Creve Coeur on Olive, just 1 mile west of 270.
On the next Larry Connors USA.
The story behind the story, the John Birch Society, and special guest George Norrie of Coast to Coast.
Larry Connors USA. Now weeknights 6 until 8 on News Talk STL. The Allman Report, sponsored by the Walner Home Selling Team.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the 3 Martini Lunch, my friends. Quick question for you. Have an unopened package of mozzarella cheese, thickly sliced mozzarella cheese. Been sitting in the fridge for a while. So long that it hasn't been opened, and it says best by May 9th. I'm still going to eat it. Right? Yeah. So they say it's best by May 9th. They don't say it's spoiled by May 9th or nasty by May 9th, right? I take things as far as I can go. Even milk sometimes, but sometimes I get that doesn't. But I'm gonna go ahead and eat it. I eat expired stuff all the time. My mom, it's good. My mom had stuff like that, cheese with mold on it. Like, Mom, there's mold on the cheese. Like, cut it off. I'm like, okay, sure thing. So some things you don't want to spoil, like things that are like fish and stuff like that. But otherwise, it's you need to make sure that you go ahead and eat that stuff to your heart's delight. All right, so the WNBA, as you know, was totally uninteresting until Caitlin Clark came along, and remains totally uninteresting now that the racists, the beasts in the WNBA, beat her up and ran her out and everything else. So now they're just back to being the same boring NBA. So Caitlin Clark was basically a golden goose. She was the one. She was the one who was bringing everybody in. She's the reason why people were actually watching the WNBA at all. So now what has happened is the WNBA is now starting to come up with a brand new plan. And she's obviously Clark is injured again, so they've done this. So now what's happening is, like in Indiana, because that's where she was, it's the Lucas Oil Family Night of the season is this Sunday. Tickets start at just $28, and you get a free hot dog, a free Pepsi, a free hat, and a free bag of Cheez-Its. So they're giving food away just to get people to come to watch a team that doesn't have Caitlin Clark anymore. And the reality is they have to basically bribe people to come and to their games now after giving away and ruining that whole thing with the with Caitlin Clark and their golden goose. Again, not to pick on Newsmax again, but I really desperately need the news people, even some of us conservative news people, to get the story right. And so I see a headline on Newsmax after all this talk, and I played you the videos, everything else of the Islamic supremacists attacking Jewish people in Brooklyn. Tonight it's going to happen again. Another march through a neighborhood in Brooklyn, a Jewish neighborhood in Brooklyn. This should not be happening in America. This is disgusting and should not be happening, nor should it be allowed. These are not peaceful protests. Just because you're a loudmouth Islamic supremacist and you're yelling Allah Akbar, that's not free speech. That's harassment. Especially when you're holding signs targeting Israel and Jews. And they need to have their heads busted by somebody. It's not the police, unfortunately. So what does Newsmax say in their headline when you see on the screen? It's like pro-Palestinian demonstrators clash with police. And I'm thinking to myself, that's not the story. I mean, I've seen videos. You guys need to look up these videos. It will be stomach turning for you, and it'll be a scene that you never thought you'd see on the streets of America. It's 100 times worse than Charlottesville, which wasn't even that bad. It was made up of a bunch of people from the Southern Poverty Law Center paid for to carry tiki torches and wear polo shirts. But what's happening in New York is only happening because they have a radical, Jew-hating, anti-Semite Muslim named Mamdani as the mayor. And they believe they have free reign to kind of run the city because the leader happens to be one of them. His wife, if you can imagine, is even worse. And this is not going to end well for the people who are perpetrating this. I'm looking at the Jewish people who are targeted by these individuals standing on their porches or on the street corner getting harassed, having strobe lights put in their face, everything else. And I feel heartbroken. They are peaceful people. They're not going to be fighting back, but at some point they will. And I hope they do, because they didn't in Germany, well, to a degree, and need to here. The Islamo supremacists need to be taught a lesson, one way or the other. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Ashland, thank you so much. Coming up, ladies and gentlemen, Tony Colombo and Colombo and Company. Thank you for listening to the Allman Report.
Springtime in St. Louis, and if you hate to paint, do what your neighbor Mr. Rob Miller from Harvesttown Auto Body in St. Peters did. He called Rhino Shield. Rob, what was the thought process for going with Rhino Shield as a business owner?
My family's business is over 10